Hi everyone, this is Manish Chauhan from Jagoinvestor.com, and today we are going to look at advanced tax. Now most of the investors, they're not aware about what is advanced tax, is it applicable to them or not, what are the penalties if they don't pay their advanced tax on time, etc, etc. So let's look at this topic today. So I'll start with the explanation. So advance tax is part payment of your income tax liability in advance. Now this word is important, in advance. Most of the investors, they have this myth that they just have to pay their income tax once at the end of the year, which is in March. But that is not true. So let's look at when is it applicable. You must be having this question that do I have to pay advance tax or not? Is it applicable to me or not? So there are two conditions which has to be met, and only then you have to pay advance tax. So the first one is that your income other than salary should exist. You should have some other income apart from your salary. It can be anything like interest on fixed deposits or saving bank account interest exceeding rupees 10,000, or it can be some rental income from your house property. It can be capital gains from mutual funds or shares, or any other income which is not mentioned here. Okay. And the other criteria is that your yearly income tax should exceed rupees 10,000 rupees. If these two cases are true, then advance tax is applicable to you, which means that if there is a salaried employee who does not have any other income, then he doesn't have to pay advance tax. Why? Because the employer deducts his TDS and anyways pays in advance to the government. So so his taxes are going in advance anyways. So only for your income which is other than salary, this is applicable. Okay, now you must be clear if it is applicable or not. Okay, now let's move to the next section and see that how much advance tax is to be paid and by when. So it has to be paid 3 times in a year. The first installment is on or before 15th of September, and you have to pay at least 30% of your total tax on this date. Second installment is on or before 15th of December, and you should have paid 60% of your tax by this time, and by 15th of March or before that you should be paying 100% of your income tax. Okay, now let's move to the next thing, which is what is the penalty for not paying advance tax on time. If you don't pay it on time, then what happens? So here there are two sections which are applicable. I'll give you some examples very soon which will make everything clear for you. Right now just understand the section names and what is the penalty. So the first thing is section 234C. Now this is applicable if you don't pay your required advance tax on due dates, which is in September and on 15th of December, and the penalty would be 1% per month for the outstanding balance till the next due date, which is 3 months. And then the second section is 234B, which you should know, and this is applicable if your advance tax paid by 15th of March is less than 90% of your total income tax, and in that case the penalty would be 1% per month for outstanding balance until it's paid. So it will become more clear once I show you the examples. So let's move to this examples part. So we'll see 4 different examples, like it is for the same person, just the scenario changes, and the assumption here is that the yearly income tax for this person is 50,000 rupees, just as an example. Okay, for you it can be 1 lakh rupees, for you it can be 20,000 rupees or whatever. So let's see the first case. So now here the assumption is that this person pays his full income tax on 1st of March. He pays 100% of his tax, which is 50,000 rupees on 1st of March. Then what happens? Okay, so you can see this table, there are different rows which is for all the 3 deadlines. So what happens on 15th of September? Now this person pays 0 rupees, but the expectation was 15,000 rupees, which is 30% of his total income tax, which is 50,000 rupees. The shortfall is 15,000 rupees, and hence 1% is charged on this, which is 150 rupees, but he will have to pay it for 3 months because the next deadline is coming after 3 months, which is 15th of December. So the penalty is 450 rupees. Now on 15th of December, on the second installment date, again he doesn't pay anything. So you can see rupees 0 in that column, advance tax paid, and the expected advance tax was 30,000 rupees because you had learned just now that 60% tax has to be paid by the second installment. So 60% of his 50,000 rupees tax is 30,000 rupees. Now again the shortfall is 30,000 rupees, and if you calculate the interest it comes to 900 rupees. Now before 15th of March he pays his full income tax, which is on 1st March he pays it. So advance tax paid is 50,000 and expected advance tax was anyways 100% of his tax. So there is no shortfall and hence no further interest. So if you add all these three numbers, it is 1,350. So this is the additional penalty he will have to pay along with his income tax of 50,000 rupees. Okay, this was the first case. If you have understood this, then it's very easy to understand the rest examples. Now let's move to the second case. Now here, if you see the wordings at the top on the right hand side of case 2, the assumption here is that he pays his full income tax on 31st of March. This is the only change from the first case. So in first case he paid it on 1st March. In case 2 he pays it on 31st of March. This is the only change. So the first two rows are same, exactly same in September and December. What changes is in March. So advance tax paid by him before the deadline, which is 15th of March, is 0 rupees, and expected advance tax was 50,000 rupees. So the shortfall is 50,000 rupees. Now here section 234B applies. Now if you see that how much tax was paid by him by the end of the last installment, it was 0 rupees, right? He didn't pay anything. So that 90% of the tax he had not paid by the last installment. So section 234B applies and 1% interest will be charged for until he pays it. So he pays it on 31st March itself, so in 15 days itself. So he will have to pay it for 1 month. So 1% of 50,000 rupees is 500 rupees. So now if you add this, the total is 1,850. So this was case 2. Now case 3 is when he pays his full income tax on 20th of July. Along with tax filing, he decides that I will file my taxes and pay my full tax on 20th of July. So if you calculate that how much delay is there, you will see that it is 4 months of delay. Okay, now everything, all the calculations is same, just that for the March row the penalty is 2,000 rupees because 1% of 50,000 is 500 rupees and he has to pay it for 4 months because he was late by 4 months for paying it. So the total would be 3,350 rupees. This is the penalty. And now let's see the last case where we assume that he pays some advance tax in between. Okay, so let's say he pays his advance tax of 10,000 rupees. He pays 10,000 rupees on 15th of September or before that. Now here the expected advance tax was 15,000 rupees. So there is a shortfall of 5,000 rupees. So if you calculate the interest in the similar manner, it will be 50 rupees per month, and for 3 months it would be 150 rupees. Now let's assume that he pays 20,000 rupees advance tax on second installment. Okay, so he pays 20,000 rupees and expected advance tax was anyways 20,000 because the shortfall was 5,000 rupees from the first installment and anyways 15,000 for the next installment he had to pay. So 20,000 rupees is the expected advance tax this time. So there is no shortfall. He has paid the full 60% of his total, which is 10,000 in advance he had paid in September and 20,000 he has paid right now. So he has paid total 30,000 till now, which is 60%. So meets the criteria. So there is no shortfall and hence no interest. Now on 15th of March or before that he pays 10,000 more. Okay, now here the expected advance tax was 20,000 rupees. The balance was 20,000 rupees which he has to pay, but he pays only 10,000 rupees. Now the shortfall is 10,000 rupees. Now here you can see that section 234B applies because by the end of last installment he has paid how much? 40,000 rupees in total, and 90% of his total tax is 45,000. So he paid less than 45,000 rupees, which is 90%. Hence he has to pay 1% penalty on the shortfall till he pays the full amount. So Here the assumption is that he pays his remaining taxes on 10th of May. So the last payment which he does is on 10th of May. Hence he has to pay it for 2 months because there is a 2-month delay. So 1% of this 10,000 rupees shortfall is 100 rupees, and for 2 months it is 200 rupees. So now if you add it, it is 350 rupees. So can you see that how his penalty has come down significantly? It's just 350 rupees compared to 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000 rupees in the earlier cases. This is only because he has paid his advance tax on time. So he saved 1 or 2,000 rupees. Now in this example it's a smaller amount, but if in your case, if you have to pay a total of, let's say, 1 lakh or 2 lakh rupees tax, it can range, the penalty can go up to 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 rupees. You never know. Okay, so we have seen 4 cases. I hope you are clear on the penalty part. If it is getting very complicated, don't worry, you can hire a CA for you and he will do all these calculations for you for some fees. Okay, now the last question is, how do you pay the advance tax? You have calculated the advance tax. Now the question is, how do I pay it? So there are 2 ways you can do it. The first thing is, you can just go to your bank. The government has tied up with all the banks mostly, and you can go there, fill the challan, and they will guide you on that. That's the offline mode. The online way is, you can go to this this link. This is the government website where you can pay your income taxes online. Okay, you can pay the DD, everything. So you just click on this. I'll show you the demo quickly. So I click on this link, okay, and it opens this page for me. Now here you can see different kind of links. So there are different kind of challans. You have to click on challan number 280. Okay, this is for paying your income tax and corporation tax. Okay, so I clicked on it. Now here you have to fill few things, okay, and then proceed. So very important point here is that you have to choose this 0021 part. Okay, this is income tax other than companies. So this is the link which can be used by companies also, private limited, LLP, firms, and as an individual also. So you have to choose this section. Here you have to put your PAN card, okay, and then you have to choose your assessment year. So assessment year is the next year when all this is getting computed. Okay, so it's not this year when you are paying the tax, it's the next year, because that's the assessment year. Okay, so you put your PAN card number here, you choose this option from here, you choose the assessment year here, then you choose your address, state, email ID, phone number, etc. Make sure that you put the right email ID, because the receipt will come to this email ID. Okay, and then here in type of payment you will have to choose this first thing, which is advance tax. Okay, because you are paying the advance tax. So after you choose that, you choose your bank from where you are going to make the payment. So let's say I'll choose ICICI Bank, and then you have to fill in these characters for authentication, and then you have to click on proceed button. Okay, and once you go to the next page, it will ask you to connect with your bank and make the payment. Okay, so what I have done is I have already filled most of the things. I'll go to the another window so that we can complete it fast. So I've just put some dummy data here. Okay, I've done everything, and I'll click on proceed. Now the moment you click on proceed, it will take you the next page, and you can see your name here, full name. Okay, it will match your PAN card with your name, and it will display your name. So you just confirm that this is your name or whoever is filling it, and then you have to click on this button where you submit to bank. So I'll click that. Okay, I have also logged in. Let me just log in. I'll show you everything. Okay, and then you can just come here and write down how much income tax you are paying. Okay, so let's say your advance tax is 30,000 rupees. So you just put 30,000 rupees here, and it will calculate everything. Okay, you can see this, and then all you need to do is click on next button, and it will be paid. So that's all. So it will show you the receipt, the exact receipt. You can take the printout, and anyways it will come to your email ID. So not to worry. So this is This is all you had. I think you have learned it, that how you can pay your advance tax, what is advance tax, and is it applicable to you or not. So that's all. Thanks a lot.